Do-do-do. Oh, I think it says we are live.
Oh, we are.
I
Whoa.
thought there would be a countdown. That is okay.
That's a learning process. That's all right.
All right. Hello, everyone. I
Good
hope there's
morning.
some people watching. Welcome. Welcome to my very first live on my channel. How exciting. I know it's not Kristen's first time on a live, but that's okay. Speaking of which, my very first guest on my Teacher Talk Live show is Teacher Kristen from Kristen's Classroom.
I'm
Yes,
honored.
and if you are tuning in, please chat in the comments your hello so that way we know that you are here. All right, I'm super excited for this. So we're just going to give it just a couple of more minutes before we get started on the official live. All right. So I don't see anyone yet. Oh, I see one viewer. Make sure to say hello so we know that you're here. Yes. So Kristen, how have you been?
Right now it is just getting back from so much travel. I've been on 5 airplanes in the last 2.5 weeks. So and I didn't take any time off from teaching. I took teaching with me to New York, Manhattan, St. Louis. Now I'm back in Columbus. So it is just getting back on track. And I think I just told you, Kelsey, I'm on the iPhone now. So like getting everything unpacked and learning a new piece of technology. So it's all sorts of just adjusting.
Yes. Yes, definitely. So I know you've had some exciting things happening. I know that you have been going back into musical theater and actually doing like live shows. Yes.
I was going to try and like vlog it or share it, but I don't know, maybe other people that watch your vlog can let me know their thoughts on this, but I was experiencing really bad like anxiety and not FOMO, but like imposter syndrome. Like I can't do this anymore. I haven't done it in years. I think I mentioned somewhere, I think I have a vlog going live tomorrow on my YouTube channel, and it was just sharing the New York experience. And in that vlog, I thank my husband who talked me down from like leaving an audition. But yeah, that was fun. Doing some live theater in December of this year, and then I booked a big show in March of 2022. It's so weird to say 2022.
Just a little. And the fact that it's only like what, like two and a half months left?
Yeah, to me it is still like March 12th, 2020, and I'm just getting ready to go back into my classroom and get my middle schoolers ready for their musical. For like the last year and a half, I've just been waiting for it to happen.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Absolutely. I know, big exciting things.
You have exciting things coming up too. Aren't you in like the beta of Allschool? I'm saying it right, correct?
Yes, I know. Outschool and Allschool, that is a little confusing.
That's okay, but I am so pumped because I'm not doing that platform. So I'm watching like you or anybody else that posts like their experience on that. I think I told you I'm also going to try putting my Flex Outschool classes on Kid Pass. Do not quote me on that. I just think I read somewhere that you can put flexible schedule classes there. So I'm going to try it out, report back, because I am just preparing to not have VIP Kid on my schedule. I know everybody's like, they're going to go global. Don't worry. But there's no like book the kids now. So I'm just preparing to not have it on the schedule for a little while, see if it comes back, but not depending on that income. So just kind of watching all you online content creators share what you do, and then see what happens with Kid Pass. Cambly's been okay every once in a while just to pop on and, fill in the holes in the schedule. I know we've always talked about like, I can't get this time to book on my teaching schedule. Always the struggle.
Exactly. I know I haven't been experimenting too much with Cambly because usually like if I do have some downtime, like I try to catch up on stuff I have to do for social media or YouTubing. And
yeah,
I was like, how does this take so much time over like where,
I was just looking at my to-do list, and I was supposed to make a post sharing like a picture of me in New York and St. Louis and at the airport, which PS is gone now because I had it sitting in a temp folder on the Pixel, which is now wiped clean. And now it's not on the iPhone. So I'm like, oh, I got to go back in and find that. But yeah, I totally get it. There are times where I just think we do the jobs of like 12 people, which is fine. Do you use any like content calendars? Like I know that Canva has a content calendar where you can actually say like, here are the pictures I want to go live at these times, and it shoots you reminders, kind of like a little assistant.
I have experimented with a couple of them, but it just seems like there would always be some sort of bug where it wouldn't post like at the time that I would want it to, and it said, well, we can post it at your ideal time, and then it just doesn't happen. I'm like, hey, what the heck,
Yeah.
So
Also,
sometimes I always have to end up doing it manually, which I know, like for this job, you got to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah,
And when stuff like this happens, it's like, this is frustrating.
Yeah. Speaking of things that are frustrating, I've gotten some messages from Outschool parents that tell me they do not like the new format that the class calendar is in. Specifically, if you're looking on your phone. I don't know if you've ever searched Outschool classes on your cell phone. They are now formatted differently where it's presented to you different. It's not as easy to read. So I know a lot of people have been saying like, oh, my numbers are down and it's more than ever before. And I wasn't planning on asking a parent. I just had a parent ask me a bunch of questions that I thought were self-explanatory on the class page. And they explained to me, well, it doesn't really answer my questions, this new format on the phone. So I don't know if Outschool's looking into this, but if you have time today, jump on your cell phone and search Outschool classes as though you are a parent or a consumer. And just see how it looks different. I won't do that because I'll now get lost on this phone that I've literally had. By the way, Kelsey, we were up till 3 a.m. because we had to sync old phone to new phone, and they were falling asleep. And if either of the phones fell asleep, it would wipe out the transfer. So I was like,
that is the worst.
And I was like, the morning I have to go on Kelsey's show, and I've got to go I just came from the orthodontist. I got another set of Invisalign trays. I was just like, this is it. This is the morning. I'm going to go on to Chrome. I put Google Apps on my Apple phone just because I'm not used to Apple still. So I'm not logged in. So if I'm an Outschool teacher and I want to find one of Kelsey's classes or any class, I'm just going to click Explore. I want to find classes on just math. Sure. I'm just choosing a subject. Sure. I'm literally making updates. Sure. I've got a 7 to 10-year-old. Yeah, definitely have one of those. If I click on a class, let's see here. It shows you like the stars completed by learners. The available times are further down at the bottom. I can see how it's a little bit different. Normally, the schedule with the times available would be closer to the top of the page. Multi-day course. Yeah, I'm like scrolling through here. Wow, this is a 10-week class. But no, I had no idea until I had a parent be like, Kristen, we are having the hardest time with this new like updated Outschool. It's not an app. It's just like the web browse feature on a cell phone. Would it be nice if they had an app? I feel like a lot of teachers have said this for a very long time.
I feel like you're preaching to the choir when you say that.
I'm like, there's two things. Everybody asks if I could choose two things that Outschool would change. Number one, I wish they would follow the teachers pay teachers model, which is something I never talk about on social media, but I do have a teachers pay teacher store. I just had my first $100 month on TPT, which is, I know there's so many teachers on that site. It's very saturated. So I expected nothing from it. But anytime I made something when I was a K-8 teacher, I just threw it on there. But I love how you can either pay out a certain percentage of your sales, or you can just pay a one-time membership fee. I know you've mentioned this before.
Yes.
Would you pay a $300 to $500 one-time yearly teaching fee for Outschool, and then you take all of your income?
Yes, definitely. And I mean, I know I've heard from other teachers that they don't like that method personally, but I'm with you there. Like I would much rather pay a membership where it's like, no, if I earn $60 for this class, give me my $60. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't want 42.
Oh, I've memorized like, hey, if each of these kids for camps pay $40, I take home 28, but not really take home because then I've got to take taxes out of those 48 or out of that 28, excuse me. So it goes from $40 per kid down to 28 and then down to like 22, 24. So really, I speak about this every once in a while when I talk about online teaching. We take home just about 56% of everything we make. So every $100 we make and can pay our bills with 56. Just how it seems to go down with the cards here. I always get asked like, you can price it yourself. What a great thing. And it is a great thing. But I always explain to people, just so you know, like every $100 we make on, Outschool, at least Outschool, I know other platforms. What is the Allschool payout?
So today's actually the last day for the founding teacher rate, which is only 15%. Excuse me. After that rate, I don't know what the actual percentage is going to be. I know it's still going to be less than Outschool. At least. I can guarantee that it's at least going to be less than 30%. I have a suspicion that it may only be like 20%. So just a 5% increase compared to the founding teacher rate, which
now,
is 15.
If I go and sign up right now for the founding teacher rate, but I don't want to teach just yet, I just want to get my foot in the door, is that an option? Or do I have to have classes available?
So, the beautiful thing about Allschool right now is if you are currently an Outschool teacher, all you would need to do, you would have to fill out their Google Doc form first, and then you would go ahead and send out to teacher support at allschool.com your Outschool link, and then just share what kind of classes you would be willing to teach, and you can share like a couple of pictures of like some of your slides or some of the things that you're going to do for those classes that you're.
I caught part of your video. I watched part of your video at the airport during a layover, and I remember you saying that. But so you do have to include that, but do you have to say like this class will be available and actually give dates?
No.
Okay.
There's no dates on that yet because there's not a confirmed starting date for Allschool to launch.
And more important question for you, do you have a referral link? Because if I go through this, I'm going to credit you on this 100%. Like, I don't know this information. Do you have? One?
Well, the only thing that they gave me in my approval email was saying, hey, just make sure to share this link here. And it pretty much, like, I had tried opening the link myself and it was just to the form, like saying already responded. So I'm like, okay, it sounds like this is just the general link. So I say the best practice, if you're, wanting to use my name for your, to sign up with Allschool, then you would just mention my first and last name. Which is Kelsey Thornton.
I'll message you today because Wednesday, I've been trying to have a no work Wednesday mentality, but of course I'm teaching a camp this week. So I will teach today, but not till 4. So kind of like you, I was like, oh, a day off, but I have to edit all these videos and put together a content calendar. And I'm going to finish my Kid Pass application. And if I have time today, I will sign up for Allschool, but I want them to know like, hey, I heard about this through Kelsey. So if you give any kind of referral, anything, it needs to go to her.
I'm
like really
I think that's the best. I think that is the best thing you can do right now since there's not an official referral link.
I'm excited
as far as I know. So
are you going to be doing like weekly updates, like an Allschool update each week? Or are you just going to go like anytime you get an update at all?
I think, well, because it seems like once you've been approved, like there hasn't really been any other information given to us. So it may have to just end up being like, as I'm given the information and learning about new
you don't want to be like, hey guys, it's week 3 of my weekly series and we're still waiting.
Just in
in case anyone was wondering.
I know. I was like, I know you guys are so eager for the latest news, but your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is such a good idea, though, because you're getting in, you're going to be like, for lack of a better comparison, you're going to be like the Nancy Taylor to VIP kid Kelsey will be to Allschool. Like, I can search Allschool right now and I'll maybe find 5 videos and you're 3 of them. Like, you will have what's called dominance in the market, which is great.
Woohoo.
I think the only reason I had such success on YouTube last year is because I was just all in. We were stuck at home in quarantine and I was like, you know what? Let's try this Outschool thing, which PS, I don't know if I told you or YouTube, Outschool had messaged me in October of 2019 saying like, hey, we see you're a teacher in the online space. Would you consider teaching on Outschool? But I was getting married. I was a full-time teacher. It was 4 months before the pandemic, maybe a little bit more. And I said, no, I'm cool. And then I got married, the world shut down, we were all stuck at home, and I was teaching K-8 online, which was magic. And I thought, you know what, let's just try this Outschool thing. I'm going to put one class. I know you have a question about this, and I won't take away from that question just yet about Outschool classes. But I had this one class, put it all together, and that's how I got started. And the only reason I went onto YouTube and started sharing that was like, day 3 of being approved, I went to go set up my profile and it did not show up. And I thought, oh my gosh, did somebody delete my profile? Like, is it not here? I already clicked confirm. I know when you sign up, you've got to like go into your email and confirm that that's you setting up a profile. So no one's like catfishing children on the internet, which sounds terrible. It's true. But I remember just being like, I was supposed to make an update and my profile's gone. So like, I think one of my first YouTube videos about Outschool is literally like, my profile got deleted. Do not make this mistake like I did. So hopefully you won't make that exact kind of like video, but I'm excited to see like the Allschool application process that you already have getting started. Is it similar? Like, I'd love a compare and contrast review between Outschool versus Allschool. Like, what are things you like? Does one market better? Does one have an app? Outschool. That's the other thing. I know we talked about things we wish Outschool had: a yearly membership fee and an app. Those are the 2. That's it. The world would be so great. We all know. What was your question? I know that there was a question about Outschool.
Sorry.
It's okay. No worries at all.
I think as we are getting started, I feel like maybe for some of the viewers who may not be familiar with who you are, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. So,
okay, well,
what that would be. So, who is Teacher Kristen?
Well, my name is Kristen. I currently live in the beautiful Columbus, Ohio, even though you wouldn't think that, like in the last 3 weeks, because we've been everywhere. But was a previous, let's just back it up. Went to school, bachelor's, master's degree, did not get straight into teaching. I wanted to kind of explore like, hey, I have this music degree and I was a 20-something. I wanted something that let me like travel, see the world, let me perform, and paid for it. And I did what any smart millennial would do. I went to New York City for about 3 weeks and I lived on friends' couches. It kills me I didn't have a YouTube channel at this point. I would have loved to have vlogged like, hey guys, I've got $20 for the week. Let's see what I can do with it. Like I was very, very frugal college kid. My mom is an accountant. She is the only reason I feel comfortable sharing investment and debt payoff, any kind of financial information on social media is because of her upbringing. But went to New York, auditioned. Last day in New York was an audition for all cruise lines like Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Princess, Disney. And it was all done in a way where you would walk in a room, you would sing your song, they would teach you a dance combination, and your one song and your one dance was auditioning for all of the cruise lines. And I thought, well, this is great. I'm not standing in line 5 different times. I'm just doing it once. Went in, did the audition. They do not tell you if you're hired or not. They actually don't tell you anything unless they want to offer you a job. So you walk out of that audition and you don't know, am I hired? Am I on a to hire list? Am I on a potential hire list? Am I on a wait list? So I went to Bowling Green State University in Bowling Green, Ohio for my bachelor's and my master's. Was packing up my entire apartment on August 4th. I was graduating on August 5th. I got a phone call from the Miami office. I had never seen a Miami area code in my life. I was like, is it a spammer? Like, is this really it? I'm about to go start the starving artist lifestyle. I come from a family of doctors, lawyers, accountants, like big income professions. And they were all asking like, well, what's going to happen? She's got this music degree. What's she going to do with it? So got this phone call from Miami. Hi, my name's such and such from Carnival Cruise Lines. We were just calling to check your availability. And I stopped packing. I honestly thought this was one of my roommates prank calling me. I was like, who? So I let them know I graduate tomorrow. So you know what? Availability is 3 p.m. tomorrow. And they called back they called back a few hours later. They said, Kristen, we'd like to hire you in October. We're going to fly you out to Baltimore, Maryland. You're going to be the singer on board the Carnival Pride. We're going to send you. And they're like, we send fax. And I was like, well, I'm a millennial. I don't have a fax machine. So they sent it all scanned emails. They sent me my contract. There's a million things you have to do to work on a cruise ship, especially as an American. You have to be up to date on your vaccines because you're going to be going to foreign countries, your passport, everything has to be sent in, background checks. But that's kind of how it went down. I got a job the day before I graduated. I did 7 cruise ships with Carnival. It was the best way to spend your 20s, in my opinion. But I will say I did get off of cruise ships at 28, and I had no idea cost of living because I had gone from high school, college life, master's degree. And my college, I'm very fortunate, was under scholarships with stipend, especially my master's because I was a TA. So I didn't know what it was like to have a bunch of bills and be an adult. So I was 28 in the body of a 22-year-old. I had no idea. I was like, Mom, people pay these rent prices? She's like, welcome. Yes.
Definitely.
So I didn't get into teaching right away, but I was substitute teaching. I moved back to land. I feel so weird saying that. I moved to land to start working at a couple professional theaters in Ohio. I chose Ohio well over New York because cost of living, you can get so much more for your money. I kind of had connections here in the city, family, friends, networking. So moved into an apartment I frankly could not afford, was working in retail, substitute teaching, and I started doing shows. And people would come and see those shows and they would see, oh, she's a teacher. Could she teach my child voice or piano or music theory or my favorite auditions? So I started building up one-on-one tutoring through music lessons. 6 months go by, I could quit my retail job. I start teaching private lessons, get into a music studio. I didn't actually start getting into full-time teaching until 2 years later. I had a stint in corporate America to buy a house. If you are in the performing arts and you ever had to, quote unquote, sell your soul to corporate life so a bank would give you a loan, I'm right there with you. But I bought this home I'm in now before I was ever married. And so had a home, had a mortgage, and thought maybe it's time to find a job in music that has salary and benefits and healthcare and paid time off. And I didn't even realize that summers off were such a big deal. So I got into the classroom in 2018.
Summer.
Yeah. 2018, I started teaching. I got engaged 6 months prior. So got engaged March of 2018, teaching in the fall of 2019, had one beautiful year of pandemic-free teaching. I've only taught in a classroom and had my own program for 1 year before the coronavirus ruined everything. So did that. And that's when teaching online kind of came into the picture, starting a YouTube channel, documenting online teaching. Kristen's classroom used to literally be called the singer's guide. I would post voice lessons for kids that lived in rural neighborhoods. Their family couldn't afford voice lessons. So I would make videos like teaching them posture and breathing and resonance and phonating, all of the things I would teach a student in real life, but it was all online. That I didn't have the personal touch of me hearing them sing or giving them feedback, but at least they had a resource. And I would get messages. I still get messages. I think one of those videos hit like 200,000 plus views last month. And I'll get messages from kids like, I live in Washington Heights and my family could never do voice lessons. So I sing this video every morning in the shower. And I'm like, great. Awesome. So here we are years later, like 3.5, 4 years in the online teaching space. I have, as of 3 or 4 months ago, quit my brick and mortar teaching job. I was in a situation where we were teaching in person every day in full numbers. Like pandemic was surging last year. We had kids out left and right. We never got planned periods. We had no subs. It was like what you hear in the news tenfold. And Kelsey, you know this, you were a teacher too. It was just not a good time to be a teacher in the teaching space. And I know myself and a lot of other educators, we got a lot of pushback. We got a lot of, I don't want to say hate, but a lot of negative reinforcement of, oh, you gave up on your kids. I can't do it for the kids, but sadly do it for the kids. Yeah. I can't go to the bank and say, hey, I'm going to pay my mortgage with do it for the kids. Or, hey, I can't go see my family because my grandparents are high risk, but I'm here doing it for the kids. And as much as I love Teacher Appreciation Week, and I do, I had someone in my family that was like, if there's an appreciation week for your profession, you are not being paid enough, because I don't see Lawyer Appreciation Week. And I'm like, that's very true.
Yep.
I don't see Lawyer Appreciation Week.
That's true.
Anywhere.
I mean, are they really appreciated?
You know, I didn't appreciate lawyers. I didn't appreciate them until I was in a car accident last year. By the way, Kelsey, I thought of this. I got to see how my lawyer itemizes his time outside of his office hours. And I thought, oh my gosh, if teachers could itemize $275 an hour outside of their salary time. Now, it wasn't in my case. My lawyer in my case, like it was one of those, he didn't get paid unless I got paid, and we settled out of court and it was great. But for other cases, like if he was working with a client that wanted legal advice, he could charge, if he had a 5 p.m. meeting and it went from 5 to 6, he could charge $275 an hour. He would even charge money for quarter of an hour. If he was on a 15-minute phone call, and I thought, if we could itemize our time, lesson planning, itemize that, grading, teacher or parent emails, time outside of, if we could, I might ask my lawyer, like, can I just get a sample of how you itemize your time? You can also see TikTokers, like lawyer TikTokers, that show how they work like 50-hour weeks, but any hour outside of that 40, when they're not salaried, they can bill for their time. If teachers could bill for their time, we would be 6-figure earners. Maybe some of us would be millionaires.
No, I agree.
I think it's one of those like, well, you're doing good. You're raising the kids. You're the future. My favorite slogan, and it's on my website, the future of the world is in your classroom. And that's great. And because of that, shouldn't those future lawyers who are learning from us, shouldn't we be paid to educate those future doctors, those future any of them? Just my stance.
I wholeheartedly agree with what you have to say with all of those things. I think I literally had just edited a video yesterday about just like honest truths of online teaching. And I mean, that's going to be really the premise of our meeting, is just talking about life as an online teacher and a full-time online teacher and what that looks like. And I believe that I had shared on there, like, I have no intentions of going back into the classroom. And I'm not trying to sound like I don't care about kids or, or the situation and the circumstances that they're under right now, because I mean, these are crazy times.
Yeah.
But it's just like, but look, like, I know I'm hearing a lot of teachers that are not being respected in the profession. Like, not only are we not making great pay and the benefits are like, so, but like, no teacher is getting respected for what they're doing. And there's no respect in the classroom from either of the kids or administration or parents. I mean, those are just the top 3 things that teachers are like, that's it. Like, I can't sit here and deal with this anymore. Like, some people, some teachers may be like, well, I mean, I don't care the pay. I just want to be respected.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just kind of feel like for us transitioning into doing online teaching, I feel like, I mean, sure, there may be a couple of parents we may run into that just want to rub us the wrong way.
I ran into my first parent of a former student. And I have to tell you, I didn't recognize her. We were in masks. We were in a Target. And she was like, Miss Basor, is that you? And I was like, oh my gosh, how are you? And I kept thinking in the back of my mind, like, she's going to be so upset. Like, she's going to say what I've been told online for the last 3 months. You gave up on the kids. How could you? They need you more than ever. But she was actually like, my second grader bawled when she found out that you weren't going to be there to teach her recorder. And I was like, do I tell you I'm not sad that I'm not teaching recorder? Okay, great.
I mean, it's also recorder.
Yeah.
And now we're like speaking like music teacher terms because I don't know.
If you don't know what recorder is and you're watching this, go YouTube search recorder and you're going to love it. Just trust me, you're going to love it. You're going to be thankful. The one gift the pandemic gave you was that perhaps your child didn't have to learn the record. I had parents be like, if you could not send those home, we'd be okay with that. We don't need to hear hot cross buns. I'm like,
never again.
Okay. Great.
It's like, you know what? You're not the only person, not even the only music teacher either that's saying that, because it's just like, yay, recorders.
I did not put recorder in my Outschool sessions or my Outschool offerings. That was your question, right? Didn't somebody ask like a question about how many Outschool classes? What was it exactly?
Yes, let me put that up real quick.
Sure.
And we can go ahead and answer that. So we actually got this question from Eileen.
Okay.
I think that's how her name is, or Eileen. So it's, how many classes did you create when you first started? So what she's talking about is Outschool.
Okay.
So we're talking about how many classes did you create when you first started on Outschool, and then how many classes do you have now?
I started with 3, and they were all one-time classes. I wanted something where I could make it and I wouldn't have to lesson plan again for a while, because I was still teaching my K-8 online. It was still like virtual learning in my brick and mortar school. And all I heard from Outschool was, oh my gosh, you're going to be lesson planning left and right. You're going to do it so much. So I thought, you know what? I know how I can do Outschool and never have to lesson plan. If I have 3 classes that I can offer, but they're all one-time classes. That way I never technically have to change the material, right?
Right.
So that was it. By the way, if you ever want to make a video, Kelsey, about how to do Outschool without lesson planning, that'd be a great topic, because I don't think anybody knows this. And I'm like, guys, if you don't want a lesson plan, you want to set it and forget it, do one-time, just set 5 classes that you offer and you're done. But yeah, it was 3. And then over time, I learned about ongoing. I think a couple of my more popular classes had parents that were like, do you offer this more? Like, my kid would take this every single week. And I was like, oh no, I couldn't do that every single week.
I love those parents that are just like, do you have more classes? Like, what, or could you make a class like this? And I'm just like, oh, you love me.
I wish
you really love me.
I wish catalog, you know how Amazon, when you search for something, they're at the bottom, they're like, if you like this, here are similar. I wish Outschool had like, if you liked this class, but maybe it didn't fit your schedule, you want something similar. Like if a parent needs a flex class, or they find a flex, but they want something in person, like Outschool, like call us. We know what you need.
Right.
But yeah, that was it. 3 classes. And now I have 18 classes, but a lot of them are stemmed off of those original 3. Like I had a starting like voice class. It was like beginning voice technique, because it wasn't like voice lessons. it was like a beginning voice class, a singing workshop, and I could teach like 8 kids on Zoom. From a girl that used to only teach one-on-one voice lessons, to be able to teach 8 kids in the time I could normally only teach one, I was like, I have found it. This is it. This is what I want to do. I love being able to reach more kids. And then from there, I want to say 6 months in, I made my first flex class, and it took so much time. The quality was not good. I have since redone it because it was literally me screen recording a Zoom box. You would think somebody who does YouTube would be like, let's film me. Oh no, it was, let's go on a Zoom call and then QuickTime, is that what it's called? QuickTime Player, screen record. It did not look good. It was not cute. It took far too much time, but that was my first flex. So yeah, I do have 18 classes, but I did start with a top 3. And you don't need to have a full catalog. I think Kelsey would agree with this. If you have one thing you want to teach, put that one thing on there. Yeah. Do it.
Yeah. I think I started out with about 2 classes for me, because I knew I wanted to try to see about Montessori classes online. I mean, we were like literally in the midst of a pandemic where it's like, I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel for this. I'm not really sure, like, if it's even possible. Like, I mean, I know, like with my training and stuff, we've kind of drank the Kool-Aid. Like, it's better to present these lessons in person, and I value that. I respect that. I understand that. It's like, but we're also in like some really, really weird times, and we're also moving in progressive times too. Like, eventually I feel like we're going to get to a point where all of our lessons are going to be online or on a computer, or pre-recorded lessons that we take in, but we still have to be interactive with it to some degree. Yeah. I feel like we're progressive in that too. So I thought, well, I really don't know how successful this is going to be, but we're not going to know unless we try. And so I had applied to Outschool, and I had created 2 Montessori based classes. And I even got like the like little travel size materials of those lessons. And I said, no, I'm going to figure out how to make this work on the screen to like present the lesson. And I didn't even know you could download like templates for parents. So that way, if they can't get the material themselves, because I mean, Montessori materials can be expensive. So, why put the burden on the parents to buy materials? If we can just give them a download template, that it may not be, the full effect on it, but at least it's something rather than just a kid watching you, do the lesson. So I started out with those, and even like those classes that I had available, like I only had like 2 kids sign up for it. And it
my
was
first class 2 or 3 kids.
Like, oh my gosh, I hope this goes well. And
PS, vlog your first time teaching on Allschool. I vlogged my first time teaching on Outschool, but not the kids, but like the camera was obviously on me. But I can go back and I can see like, there I am at my kitchen table teaching those 2 or 3 kids that one-time class. And I taught that class 2 times that first day. I think I taught it once at 10 a.m. or 10:30 and like 4 p.m., like twice in the day.
So, and so this is a little over a year now after I had officially joined the Outschool platform. You're not going to believe the number of how many classes I actually have created over time.
Oh, I'm ready. How many classes have you created?
46.
Are you offering all of these classes right now?
No. No. Oh my
wow.
God. No. And that's just because like there were a lot of classes that I had created that parents would make suggestions like, hey, would you mind offering this type of class? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. And
you listen to your clientele is what you're saying.
I do try. And it's real interesting because it's like I put all this effort and make, and I mean, I still feel like there might be a little bit of planning to make the classes happen. Yes. Like it's not going to be completely like, oh, go in the class and teach, like, you do have to plan a little bit for it. But I feel like I feel like when I created the classes and I said, "Hey, I got this class for you. Will you want to sign up?" Crickets. And I'm like, "Come on."
Hey, Kelsey.
I made this for you.
I
worked so hard. But so 9 of them are my flex classes.
Okay.
I have 9 flex classes, and that I offer weekly. I do have, I think I have around 12 ongoing.
Nice.
And that's for me trying to start clubs, essentially trying to get the ongoing boat going on there.
Do it.
And then I do have 3 camps that I offered over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had those things. And then a lot of my classes were one time. So, and that was just because at the time when I had first started on Outschool, I could only rely on one time and flex because of I was working a completely different job at the time, not related to teaching. And the schedule was really inconsistent. And I was like, I would really hate to create an ongoing section. And we meet one time, but then we skip 3 weeks. And then we may meet
exactly.
I know parents thrive on that consistency. So it's just, I don't want to do that to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a lot of one time.
Yeah. Did they funnel in? Did they funnel into your ongoing if they're interested?
Well, I think that may be my struggle because I think I'm only offering my ongoing and not trying to pick a day or pick times where I'm like, okay, this is when I'm going to offer my one time. So then they can funnel into ongoing or flex.
Yeah.
So that might be my struggle.
Hey, Kelsey, I'm going to have you hold down our fort for just a second. I can see in my camera, there is somebody at my door that needs a signature. Joy of working from home, right? But I will be back. So hold down the fort for me, okay?
Okay.
If anyone comes in and asks questions, let me know. I'm going to go sign. Kelsey's taking over for a hot second.
Yes. Yes. I don't know who's watching right now. Make sure to say hello. All right. And if you do have questions, please go ahead and ask them now because we're probably going to close down the show in about 15 minutes. So if you got your questions, please bring them because we would love to answer them or even just to say hello. I haven't heard anyone say anything yet. To the 2 viewers, hello. I don't know who's watching, but really glad that you stuck around this long to hear us. So I think the next question that we're going to just talk about here in the video is just life as a full-time online teacher, what that looks for us, what's our schedules, how do you make it work, how do you even get to that point where you could be a full-time online teacher. I know for many people that's
a thing. Hold on.
So all right, and we are back.
Thank you. Am I on the right way? Yeah. One of the joys of working from home is you are your husband's personal assistant when it comes to signing for stuff, I guess.
Well, I guess I never thought about that before because
he set up a camera for me. So whenever somebody comes to my front door, it records and it sends me live footage. So I could see and I could hear the knocking. I think my voiceover microphone muted it for you, but I could hear the knock. And at first I was like, oh, he's just dropping something off. And then I heard another knock and I saw him standing there with that little stylus. And I'm like, okay, they're obviously they deliver all sorts of electronics. They're not going to in the future. So please don't come rob me, people. But I had to go sign for it, but it's fine. What I miss?
Gotcha. Well, no questions have come in because I guess we have no friends. But I figured I'm gonna type it here and put it up in the banner. So we're gonna ask, how is life as a full-time online teacher? So that's
my question.
So how is life as a full-time online teacher?
You ready? It is a world of trial and error. I feel like when you're under that security blanket of salary teaching, and it's your summer break, and you're still making like your every 2-week paychecks from brick and mortar, and your Outschool classes are flourishing, thriving, half them are full and booked, and I was at a point where I had lesson planned my ongoing enough. I could have them rotate on a 16-week rotation. So 4 months, and I would go back and start that material again. So ongoing was just like a rotation. I would have kids that would stay all 16 weeks, and then they would just want to do it again. Like they would never complain, like, we already did this lesson. They did not care. They were like, I love it. I'm going to be a leader. And their parents were loving it. So you go from feast to famine. It's either one or the other, feast or famine, it seems to be, because you go from summertime, raking in full-time income from brick and mortar, your classes are doing great, and then September hits, and that's when your salary contract brick and mortar job money goes away, and all your clientele goes back to school. So it's been a mix, again, of feast or famine, but it's been okay, well, this isn't working. What can I do instead? And I think the biggest issue with full-time online teaching is making the tough calls. Have we tried this schedule long enough? Are we offering the right classes to these kids? Could we offer this same class at a different time? But then here comes the struggle of, I want to have the same work hours as my spouse. I want to have weekends off.
Right.
So full-time online teaching is, it's just a consistent game, a constant game of trial and error, figuring out what works. For me right now, I have slowly started implementing a schedule that looks kind of similar to when I was teaching in the classroom. Previous to right now, I wasn't teaching a lot of like 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was trying to do mornings and be done at noon. Well, that's not really an option right now, Kristen. You're not going to get those kids. So I have started, I think they start next week. I started putting in at least 4 days a week, classes in the 3 to 5 p.m. time slots. I think I was already doing this on Tuesday, Thursday, but I added it on like Monday, Friday. But I'm also now in the boat where I can't offer evening classes. I'm now in rehearsal. I have given that time up. So life as a full-time online teacher, you're balancing your classes, you're balancing your checkbook, you're balancing being a business. I'm really glad you asked this question. I have booked my first post-pandemic speaking engagement at a conference. I do not know how they found me. I have no idea. But the whole conference is literally alternatives to teaching. Never thought this would be a thing. Never thought they would have conferences teaching educators how to become their own business, which is great. Ooh. And they're going to ask very similar questions. Yeah, I haven't shared this on my YouTube channel yet. So if you tune in on the replay or you're here in the live, you hear it first. But people are scouting out teachers that work for themselves and asking us to speak in front of people and share like the good and the bad. Because I don't want to present a false narrative that, oh, teaching online is so easy. I never have to do parent conferences. I make all this money. There is a definite pay cut. There is a lifestyle switch. I now do my own nails. I meal prep as much as possible. You saw that I have a coffee here, but that is because we just came from traveling. So we budgeted a certain amount of money. We put it on a Starbucks account, and I still have money left over. So there you go. I actually think it's good to have to be responsible for like your own well-being. And people might say, oh, well, she's a millennial. She quit her job. She doesn't want to work. And I'm like, I work more now.
Oh, I hate that so much. I know hate's a strong word, but I have very, very strong feelings when people are like, oh, you're a millennial and you just don't want to work. You feel like you have a privilege, or, like, I have a privilege like we're not crying in my car. Generations out there right now.
I have so many strong words, and I don't put them on the internet because internet's forever. But yes, I feel like I quit working essentially a 9 to 5 job, and now I work 24/7 because anytime someone's like, oh, you're a millennial, you just don't want to work. I'm like, excuse me, I still have bills to pay. I still pay my mortgage, my car, pay my insurance. So actually, I do want to work. I literally said this to someone. I was like, I just don't want to cry in my car 4 days a week and have to go into a job that is clearly not serving me. And then I turn it around on them. I'm like, wouldn't you want the best teacher for your kid? And if I'm not the best, don't you want someone that is? And I'm recognizing that. And they're like, oh, I guess she has realized this. And I'm like,
mic drop.
Thank you. Bye.
Can't drop this mic though.
Exactly. These are quite expensive. I thought about sharing that kind of stuff on TikTok, but I didn't want to come off as like that senile millennial educator. I'm still figuring out that whole platform. To me, I just think it's funny. It is like my form of after work entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. And I admire the TikTok teachers out there that just nail it and are just so relatable to us teachers. Because I mean, I feel like for a lot of us that are teaching online now, the reason we are still teaching, but only online, is because we have been teachers in the past. We have been brick and mortar teachers in the past that still have a desire to teach, but just not under the constraints of, administrative expectations or school expectations, or, the list can go on, and we could literally talk a whole other hour about that by itself. But
yeah, I feel like that's going to be my whole conference. It's going to be a bunch of teachers being like, how were you not respected as a professional? How were you? Like, I'm hearing now from teachers that I taught with last year. Like my school, by the way, is like literally 2 roads over. I lucked out that I bought this house and then got that. I did not buy this house with that job in mind. It just fell into my lap that way. Very, very fortunate. But people that I work with are like, Kristen, we've lost our planning periods. We have no time to do anything. I love hearing like such and such is going to make it till Christmas. And I don't mean to say I love it. Like, I love to see that the schools are suffering. I don't love that, but I like seeing teachers realize like, this isn't right.
Right.
One of our school districts here in the Central Ohio area has finally realized, I don't know how they came to terms. They realized, hey, we are having a shortage. It's a serious problem and our kids are suffering. They have doubled the daily pay for subs. They've doubled the daily pay for the substitute teachers that come in for special needs, the aides.
The aides.
Aides. Every district calls them different things, so I didn't know. Or bus drivers. They have doubled. It used to be $75 a day. Now it's $155. But if you sign on and say, hey, I want to be a long-term sub, I will dedicate my time to you and I will be available for you in the district, it's $185 a day. And you are guaranteed that money, even if, let's say, tomorrow, no one calls out. Because I was there and on call, think like doctors on call, you still get paid. You get paid $185 a day.
That's amazing.
That's not far off from my private school salary broken down into an hourly rate. I'm like,
that makes like, it sounds more appealing to be a sub than it is to be an actual teacher, which is kind of sad because I mean, I've been a substitute teacher before too. And I know like you really don't earn a whole lot of respect for just one day in the classroom, and that you really do only follow like whatever the teacher leaves behind. And I know there's a joke with teachers, or at least it was before the pandemic happened, that, oh, do I stay home and, do I actually like stay home sick and like heal my body, or like, do I actually go to school because sub plans are a lot harder to create? Than just
the only job where it's more work. It's more work to call off than it is to just go in and suffer. And I did that. I'm not going to lie to anyone. I did that all the time. I would just go in. I was like, I can't. And last year when I was pandemic teaching, I lost my classroom. So I did not have a place for my kids to go. So if I had to sub or make sub plans, I had to write out a map of the 6 classrooms that person had to go to on any given day, how to set up each individual Wi-Fi and laptop configuration, because my school required us to teach in person, but also set up a camera in the back and provide classes for those who were remote learning or just online for the full year because their family didn't feel comfortable. So we were essentially seeing these kids once a week. We had to see them and prepare in-person lesson plans, online lesson plans, know 30 different routing systems and network connections for laptops. Like, people always say, like, oh, like we said before, she just didn't want to work. She's lazy. I'm like, you know what? I will give you my salary to go in and do what I did for a week. And you tell me how that goes. And Kelsey, it's weird. I've had no takers on that. No one wants to go in. They just want to point the finger at us and say that we're the problem.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that just a funny thought to have?
Exactly. Well, how's it been for you? You've asked me about online teaching, but you have been a full-time online teacher for what, 6 months longer than me? So
yeah,
what should I expect 6 months in my future? Or anybody that is watching this and is like, what is it going to be like? Like, you get so excited and then what happens?
Yeah. So I think every online teacher's journey, whether full-time or even part-time, is going to be different for everyone. And I think what I have learned over 6 months, I officially started full-time online teaching in February of this year. So I think what I have realized is you have to be willing to change. Like you have
Adapt,
to adapt
right?
to change. Like,
well, you're a business, right? If you don't adapt to change, you're going to literally be the Blockbuster or the home video of your niche, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And nobody wants that.
No.
So like you have to be willing. You have to be willing and open to do that and to be like, well, maybe this schedule doesn't really work out in my favor. Like maybe I do need to step it up a little bit, or maybe try this out and see if that will work in my favor.
Mm-hmm.
Or listening to parents, or maybe give up a weekend every now and then.
Yep. Or evenings. Every once in a while.
So, but the other nice thing about it is, like, when you're a full-time online teacher and you're working from home, you do have like this freedom that you would never have in the brick and mortar job, before. Like my dog, 2 days ago, he had to go to the vet. And the thing is, like, if I had been working at a brick and mortar job and I'm like, look, guys, like, I gotta take my dog, like, to the vet, like, like he kind of needs this medical matter, like, attended to. Like, they probably would have been like, well, don't you care about your job?
Yeah, don't you care about the kids? Do it for the kids.
And it's just like, well, you know what? My dog is my kid right now.
Yep.
So I do care.
Oh, I get it.
So, but for me, it was easy for me to block off that time to be with my dog, to be on call whenever they were finished with him, because they had some weird COVID procedures that I had to follow. Mm-hmm. Where they said, like, it was actually kind of sad. Like, he was in one room and I had to be in another, and I'm like, oh, my puppy, Aww. but he's fine. He's okay. So he's doing great, actually. He's just happy-go-lucky. Like, so he's doing great. And so
what is your biggest challenge? Like, if someone said to you, hey, I'm going to be teaching full-time online tomorrow, what's the biggest challenge that you think I will face? What would you say to them?
Income, I think, because income is going to fluctuate. And that's why in a lot of my recent videos I've posted on my YouTube, I think I repeat it so often that you can't just rely on one platform for your income. You can't rely on one affiliate link or sponsorship or whatever it is that you're doing to keep your business going. You cannot rely on that one thing, because as we've been seeing for like VIP Kid World or ESL online teaching world, that can change in a day.
Oh man, Kelsey, I didn't want to leave. I remember when I was only VIP Kid and I was getting offers to teach other places, I'm like, oh, I can't leave them. And I think back, like, what if I had never left? What if the world had caught on fire and I was only
The
teaching
world's on fire. This is fine.
Yeah, literally. That's what I tell the kids. I'm like, guys, how's your day? I know the world's on fire, but tell me. They're like, it's great. But what if we had never branched out? What if we hadn't been open-minded to the idea of teaching our own self-made material? And now that seems to be all the rage.
I mean, yeah, Allschool, Outschool, Kid Pass. I mean, we've already, I feel like we've mentioned several of those companies.
Yeah.
Just now.
You know what? I'm going to put a video link in the chat of this video if anyone makes it this far. And it is, I did this well before anything ever changed in the world. Is that okay if I put a video
Absolutely.
in? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
It is a video called 8 Platforms to Teach Self-Made Classes. And in this video, I made a chart, and this is all free, by the way. It's on my Teachers Pay Teacher store. It's a chart. I mentioned 8 platforms like Skillshare, italki, Airbnb experiences. So if people want to teach cooking and they want to try Outschool, they want to try Kid Pass, Udemy, your teachable moment, you can set up that one-time cooking class on all of these platforms, and the chart shows you like how to apply, the cut each company takes. Like this video I made, it did not do well the first couple months, and then when the whole ESL debacle started, I think teacher Kaylee from Kaylee's Classroom, I know she just recently changed her name, she shared this with her like 22,000 plus Instagram followers, and then overnight, boom, this video gets traction and traffic. I think it just took like that one shout out, which is insane. I'm going to put this in our chat. So if anybody's watching this and they want platforms to teach. Now, I don't know if anyone's made a video for like current platforms that you do not have to lesson plan. Like Magic Years is gone. Say ABC, all those ESL plans where you could just log in and teach, they're not going to be here. Are there any existing other than like Cambly?
Right.
Which isn't actually lesson planning unless you do Cambly Kids. Is there, Kelsey, is there any class platform where you don't have to make your own self-made classes? The classes are made for you?
So the hope, if Allschool does launch, is Allschool. So that's going to be the platform where if you sign up on the Google form, you can be a content creator where not only do you teach your own lessons, but you could teach the lessons that Allschool has to offer.
So if you're available, so let's say kids don't want to take my self-made, like I do music classes, right? Let's say people don't want to take those classes till after school, but I want to get some hours in during the workday, during the school day. I could go into Allschool and I could just teach their pre-made classes.
That's the idea. As long as you sign up as a content creator where you could do both. Because the other option is that you can be a teacher that just teaches their content.
Okay, so can you change, by the way? Like if you want to start as one option, could you switch to the other later on, or is it you just pick it and you go with it?
That's a great question. I really don't know if you could do that or not. I think the assumption is if you're a content creator, you can do both. So it's up to you if you want to. I feel like it might just be like a natural thing. Like if you're like, I just want to do what Allschool has to offer, then I just assume you would just make yourself available to teach those lessons instead of just offering your times and dates for your own things. That's my assumption. Again,
if you get all that information on launch day, 100% do that kind of video, and make sure you get a referral link in there, because man, I miss referrals.
I know. And I was actually really sad that there wasn't like an official like referral link. So I'm just like, okay, I hope I get something out of this.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, you will be like the leader in the Allschool niche. Like you will be the one providing the information. That could be what gets you to the monetized YouTube level.
So that is the goal too.
Yeah, I tell Kelsey all the time, the day you hit your subscriber and your watch time goal, I'm like, call me up. I will show you how to go put the ads on existing videos. I'll show you how to read your analytics to know, if someone only watches 5 minutes of your video, make sure that you don't have your only ad playing at minute 6. Like my favorite class here, I'll throw my own question onto your chat. My favorite class to teach on Outschool is actually like my YouTube creator clubs, my YouTube creator camps. I love them. Every once in a while, I will have a learner who is monetized. And obviously a parent or guardian sets up the monetization because, United States, we pay taxes. But I'll teach the kids, how to set up a channel, how to grow it. And it's not just I want to be an influencer. It's really like, I want to find a way to express myself. I want to learn how to use lighting and camera and photography and videography. I teach it in a way that isn't like, do you want to be famous? It's more, hey, do you want to be a creator? Do you want to share your story? Do you want to work with others? There'll be kids in that class that will tell me like, Miss Kristen, I don't have any friends. I go to school at home. The only people I talk to is my mom and my siblings. This class is the only socialization I have. And that's when it hits me like, okay, our job online is really important because there are so many kids who need that attention. But yeah, that's my favorite class. I know I can go off on like 8 tangents, but Kelsey, when the day comes, you call me up. We're going to go online. We're going to that's the big thing. Set your existing videos, things that are still getting views in the past before. Like some people think, oh, I got monetized. It starts today. I'll just monetize all my future videos. And I'm like, you are leaving money on the table. Go back into all of your video. If your video is longer than 8 minutes, put an ad on it. Even just put an ad before the video. I think I have it set. My videos these days have ads that play at the beginning and at the end. And depending on the length of the video, it's usually like every 4 to 8 minutes will be an ad. So even if someone just watches the first 30 seconds, there's an ad in there. Which is very helpful. I mean, it's not a ton of money. I would never tell somebody, hey, just go quit your job and live off Google AdSense. Never.
Yeah.
Just like Outschool, it is feast or famine. And go ahead.
Which is why, like, if you're going to be a full-time online teacher, you're going to need to open up more income.
Yeah.
Like you're going to have to be available to teach on multiple platforms. I think you and I think Nancy Taylor and some other YouTube online teachers have said this before, that you would need about 10 to 12 streams of income coming in to make it, basically. And I feel like I'm not quite at that number yet, but I'm trying to get to that point, which is why, like, in our videos, we offer like the links below, like, please check out our stuff, please check out our products and our services, because it does help out, it helps us out and in turn helps you out, because, if you're not helping us, we may have to go, well, okay, I guess I got to go work somewhere, which is obviously going to take time away from us offering content for our viewers. And we don't want to do that. We're trying to profile this life,
Exactly.
So,
I have a list somewhere I think it's on my laptop. I have a list of my income streams, and there are months where my top income streams, and it was a lot easier when obviously we were full-time teachers and our big income stream was that solid salary that came every single 2 weeks, every 2 weeks that went by. Apparently words are hard. But yeah, there are times, like you said, where the income streams that I depended on, like I normally get my biggest Outschool paychecks in July, which is great. But that number is going to be nowhere near as high in September. So there are some months where I will pick up extra VIP kidships, which PS, I think next week's video is going to be me removing VIP Kid temporarily from my schedule, because I personally do not think that we will just be able to pick up where we left off. I don't think that, is it November 5th or something? I know in a couple weeks.
I think so. I'm not completely in the loop of VIP Kid world
okay.
anymore.
This is a good time for you to be sharing information on Allschool because there will be those teachers who kept their eggs in the VIP Kid basket. And maybe they need a platform that they can just go teach something that's already provided for them. And I did not know that thing about Allschool where you can just teach like lessons provided for you. That is great.
So, and I don't know what those lessons are going to consist of. They're definitely not going to be like you teaching English because the premise of Allschool is that there are native English speakers taking these classes. So you are truly teaching content on Allschool.
That's fantastic.
So, like how you would for Outschool.
What education requirements do you have to have for Allschool?
So the best thing, if you are going to be a content creator and follow the lesson, I believe you do not need to have any sort of degree.
Okay.
Or anything. But if you are wanting to just teach the content of Allschool, you would need to have a degree. I don't think it has to necessarily be in teaching, similar to like VIP Kid, but I think that is their standard, at least if you are just wanting to do their content lessons. So that's why it's better to lean more if you're willing to be open to writing your own content. So that way you have that freedom to teach your own content and teach their lessons.
Gotcha. I have a question for you. Are you ready? On the topic of income stream.
So we'll probably, for time's sake, I know we're just a little over. This will probably be the last question. And then I actually got to get going. So
are you teaching? What time are you teaching?
Well, not teaching. I actually have therapy. Anyways.
Oh, cool.
Me time.
No, that's very, very, very important. I
won't be teaching till the afternoon. So
same. I don't teach until the afternoon. My question on the topic of income streams, is there any income stream that you have that you A, didn't expect to have, and B, haven't shared on your YouTube channel that you would want to?
I mean, I feel like I always share in all of my YouTube videos, like all of my affiliate stuff. So all my Outschool stuff, and then the Allschool form, my Cambly referral, Canva, because I use Canva religiously nearly every day, even if it's just for social media posts for like 5 minutes. Just creating something and then posting it on there. Like, even if it's just that, I use Canva nearly every day. I do have TubeBuddy that helps me with YouTube, with tags and all that jazz.
Do you use the referral code for TubeBuddy too?
Yes.
Good. Same
for their affiliate link. Yes. I do that too. What other affiliate links do I have? Well, I also have my products that I've created. So I have resources for like my teaching like children how to read with the Montessori method, and then a guide on, how to have a more engaging classroom.
Oh, that's great. Those are good resources.
So, I mean, I can't, those are the ones that just come up on the top of my head. And then I do have a Teachers Pay Teachers site too. But
I didn't know.
Well, yeah, I only have like 3 followers on there and nobody has bought anything. So I'm just like, well, it's okay.
You can say you have it.
And somebody buys it, great. If not, great. It's not my main source of income that I'm reliant on every month. So if it happens, great. If it doesn't, it's okay. So because obviously I'm going to be putting more energy towards, my Outschool stuff or my Allschool stuff, or things that I know for sure when I put work into it, I'm going to be guaranteed money.
Are you going to have to scale back on Outschool to add Allschool, or are you just going to add more to your teaching plate?
It's going to have to depend on what happens when Allschool launches.
Okay.
Because there was an impression that I was given at one point that if you were a content developer, that you could offer your courses to other teachers and other teachers could teach your content on there. I can't say that's gold though.
Okay.
I can't say that's gold. I don't want to put word, I had read a comment that may not be 100% true on that until Allschool says, yes, you can do that. Then, don't take it as gold.
Got it.
That's what you can do on the platform, because if that is the case, I still feel like I might be able to still do Outschool on the regular, because I do have private students and I still want to offer my flex classes on there. So I still want to see them. And then the clubs that I do have learners active, I still want to see them every week too. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to give up on their time. So depending on I think it just depends on how Allschool launches and what that's going to mean as content developers, what we can offer and what teachers would be willing to teach our stuff, if that is true. So we'll just have to wait and see. It still feels like there's so much in the air for Allschool at the moment.
Yeah,
we can't confirm anything.
But today is your launch day, right?
Do what?
Today is launch day, correct?
For
Allschool.
No, the launch day is not going to be until November, December.
Oh, I thought today was like a big day for them.
It's the last day for the founding teacher.
Okay,
takeaway.
That's what I'm here. Okay, that's what I'm remembering. I'm like, I knew something.
So people watching this, you have until midnight to submit your Google Doc form and either your Outschool link and your classes, or if you're wanting to do the demo, or if you have to do a video, either the sample demo or your own lesson video, submit it all before midnight in your time zone.
Is Allschool one word?
Yes.
Okay.
So
I'm searching it and it's showing me like an education in Nigeria website.
Yeah, no, it's based off of Singapore. So and that's where I feel like it's still in the works. So that's why it's not officially launching on yet. So
did you sign up on a Google Doc?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I'm seeing here. So there is no actual like website, is there? Here's
correct. It's still under works right now.
Okay.
So that's cool. So it's still under maintenance.
Well, keep us all posted. I know I want to hear about it at least. I want to follow your Allschool journey. There's so many, all these names, Allschool, Outschool, every school.
Every school.
It's fine. They're here.
All the schools.
All of them. You didn't know? They're all here. All the schools are here.
Yes. Well, we're going to wrap up our time.
Okay.
All right. So, Teacher Kristen, thank you so much for joining me on my very first live.
Hey, you're so welcome.
Yes.
I hope to see more people. I'll sit and watch and drink my coffee and ask all the questions.
Yes. And, all right, if you're still watching or you're watching the replay, all right, I have our links, Teacher Kristen's links, down below. Yep, in that description box. All right, please make sure you check out our stuff and what we have to offer, because your support means everything to us, because we're not going to be able to keep up with our channels without your support. So make sure you check those things out. All right. And if you are a teacher and you're wanting to come on my live for future lives, like, please let me know on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Teaching Online with Kelsey. And then make sure to follow Kristen too. Her Instagram handle is Kristen's Classroom.
Yep, that's me.
So make sure to give us a follow. All the follows, all the jazz. You have no idea how much that means to us when you do that.
Awesome.
All right. So thanks everyone for coming on the live, or if you're watching the replay, thanks for sticking out this long.
Woo!
All right. Bye-bye.